Well, hello, stars. Here we are. We're live. We can just get these elements out of the way. But yeah, I wanted to come on live and experiment with some new makeup and just getting our light as bright as possible. Ooh, that looks weird. Wait, it's all different filters. Glow, no. Slate, no. Dawn, oh no. Bubbles, that's ridiculous. 8mm. I don't know if that actually is going to help things. I don't think it is. Here's a glamour filter. Does that look glamorous? We'll rock with that. But I wonder how I get rid of this. Anyway, I guess it'll go away on its own. But yeah, here we are. Half day from work. So exciting. Welcome to Camera Ready. This is an ongoing beauty and makeup experimentation series that I have here on my YouTube channel, House of Tanya. Here we are at the Sky Cabana. We are, we have our palm tree in the background. We are so excited. Half day from work. Can you believe it? Full day's pay. God bless. SAG-AFTRA. Very sad. Our former active member, Ed Asner, passed away in recent days. Moment of silence for him. He did great things for the union. The union has had, so many fantastic, talented people, and right now we're having a kind of hotly contested election for SAG president. Gabrielle Carteris, who you know from 90210, Beverly Hills 90210, the original series, stepped down, and Fran Drescher is running for the party that Gabrielle Carteris is part of, but Matthew Modine is running for the other party. So, I encourage anyone who works to get involved in, sort of advocacy for themselves as classes of workers. This is my first union membership, and I've been really happy and thrilled, and that's why I have a half day of work with full pay. It was a great day. Got to interact with some really amazing actors, and they were so kind and just good manners and so charming and so talented and funny and everything you would want in a TV or movie star. One of the things I've been doing is going through my stash of products. I went to a screening of Hit the Floor before quarantine, and for some reason it was sponsored by a drugstore, Walgreens, and I randomly got in my goodie bag or gift bag this bag of mineral Epsom salts with mint, right? And I've never been a Epsom salt person. I had heard recently that you could put Epsom salts into your houseplants, but because this has mint in it, I don't think that's going to be good for that. But I thought, let me try to figure out what. I guess it's supposed to soak your body, soak your feet. Does anyone out there use Epsom salts? Who can say, oh, that wasn't good. Who can say what they do for you or if they're a good product to use? But, when I'm home from work, I like to experiment with new makeup. One of the things I got at Target was this Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation and concealer. I've heard really good things about it. I've heard that it's a dupe for some higher end products. So, sorry, I just wanted to give it a try. So let's do that. We have our damp beauty sponge. We have a whole series of different brushes, including this Morphe E9. But I think what we're going to do is go in with our non-absorbent sponge from the Creme Shop here. That way we won't waste product. We have our tiny little marble dish from Daiso. We're going to get into this and put some drops of it. Hopefully it's a color that's at least close. You know, get a little dot of this into our dish. This is one squirt. I wonder if I need two. Let's rock with one because I've been over squirting foundations lately and I don't like to waste things. So we're gonna just use our non-absorbent sponge to get it on our face. Color is looking kind of right, you know, and let's go in with a thin layer. We'll dance this across the face. You know, from earlier, I was just wearing a little concealer under the eye and in the center of the face, and then I powdered that with some Ben Nye banana powder and some, I think it was a Wet n Wild powder in medium, but I wasn't, you know, going for like a heavy makeup application since I was playing a law enforcement person. So this is looking kind of good in terms of color. I am quite tan because I've been working outside a bit. And the promise is that it's supposed to conceal and perfect. So do the work of foundation and concealer. I think I'm looking quite babylicious, but let's go in with another squirt to see if the coverage is buildable and still looks like skin. Again, this is the color Warm Sand. I hope everything's going well in your life, in your work life, you know, that you are finding satisfaction in your line of work if you're able to work, given, you know, these ongoing COVID quarantines and COVID lockdowns that are happening in places like Australia. You know, I imagine if these things are happening abroad, that these things are actually headed our way to the United States. But, you know, I work in Hollywood, so we have very thorough protocols for testing and, you know, tracing who you're close to when you're at work. And if there's any kind of infection, you are informed and everyone is informed. You know, I guess this is how it's got to be for the time being. There was a moment during the summer where our president, Joe Biden, seemed to indicate that maybe the worst of it was behind us, but, you know, lack of cooperation by a lot of people. It's very funny. People are like, oh, I'm not taking any vaccine. It's like you probably had 20, 30 vaccines over the course of your lifetime. Many of them when you were under 12, thanks to your parents, or else you wouldn't have been allowed to go to school. So how is this one different? How is this one delivering 5G and a chip and, you know, I don't know. People have a lot of funny ideas. We see that I have this like one, I don't know what it is. Is it a freckle above my eye? Sometimes makeup artists on set seem very very unhappy with this freckle, but, you know, I don't hate it. You know, I think I have a lot of friends who have, you know, much more unfortunate moles or more extreme pigmented moles or discoloration. I think this one freckle here in the inside of my eye is not a terrible thing. So, you know, I'm not unhappy with the finish of this foundation. Maybe I've gone in a bit heavier than I needed to, but, you know, for on-camera work, maybe that's not a bad thing. Now, again, we are using a non-porous Creme Shop. Let me see if I can turn it the right way. The Creme Shop sponge. And that is, you know, not absorbing any of this product. I'm just working it down onto the neck and over onto the ears, just so that all of our human colored skin looks like it's on the same person, you know. And today we're gonna just treat this as a base for contour and highlighting and all that jazz. But, you know, in as much as we've been generous with this foundation, and we're actually using it in some of the conceal places as well, right? To kill any discoloration under the eye. Uh, you know, put a little bit on this freckle mole situation on my eyelid, but I think I look pretty. You know, maybe we'll bounce a beauty blender. You know, we'll let this work into the skin and then we'll let it dry down. And then maybe we'll bounce it with our damp beauty sponge just to be sure that we have a uniform application. You know, but you know, you want to practice your makeup so that when it's time to actually perform your makeup, you are in a kind of place where you're happy and you feel in control of what you're doing. You're not going in for the first time with a color that may not match anymore because you're tan, or may not match the undertones in your skin, because this color of this Milani foundation is warm sand. It looked a bit darker. You know, sometimes these display photographs, I think it was a young South Asian woman, they may not actually you know, they're too small or they're faded, so you can't tell. You gotta kind of think about the words. Warm yellow undertones, which is what I have. Sand, which, you know, is a word that I've encountered in foundations before. I had gotten into a little trouble with this Estee Lauder double wear foundations because neither Pebble nor Desert Beige really knocked it out of the park for me. You know, and sometimes if something is too neutral or too cool, you can compensate with a warm powder, a banana powder, a powder that you custom mix from, you know, cosmetics that you already have. Now, I was on Hollywood Boulevard. I picked up this fan that says, "Look, I'm a fan," which I thought was very clever. You know, one issue that I think can happen when you're applying cosmetics is not letting things dry down. You know, and I'm certainly guilty of that. I'll put on foundation and then add concealer and start blending either with a non-porous sponge like this, but it's too soon because all the products are wet, so all they do is mix. It's not even like you're kind of building one over the other. It just, I had occasion to turn gray. We're not gonna go further into that, but I've seen things go wrong. But this fan I recycled from some sort of promotional event from Daily Harvest, offering $40 off your first box of Daily Harvest. Enter "you made it" at checkout. I think this is like a meal delivery service, and it has a QR code if you're interested, and they seem to be doing some sort of deal. But you know, it's like a church fan. If you're familiar with African American churches, in summer in humid southern states, a fan is invaluable. But yeah, you know, just fan with your hands, fan with, sometimes people have those, I may have one somewhere, a little portable fan. But just make sure that you've let everything dry down, and then you can take your beauty sponge, whether it's branded or not. You know, I have washed this guy, but I have recently learned from our friend Painted by Spencer that one should wash your beauty sponges with antibacterial soap rather than, I've been using Dawn dish soap or shampoo, but maybe it'll actually be able to get foundation and makeup stains out of this guy. But here we go. This isn't looking bad, but I do hear people talk about streakiness if you don't bounce a beauty blender. We're not trying to take off this makeup, we're trying to, you know, bounce it into the skin and see if we're getting the effects that are promised, that we are getting both foundation and concealer action in 2 pumps of this fantastically packaged and priced Milani foundation. Now, is this foundation new, or is it just new to me? I've just been seeing a lot of exciting recommendations on TikTok, and I figured I would get into it. You know, when you play law enforcement, whether that's CIA analyst, FBI agent, you know, uniform cop or detective, right? And that can be on anything from a drama to a soap opera to a film. I like this because it's glowy, it's skin light. I think that I've been perfected. You know, I'm not seeing a lot of darkness under the eye. I don't know if it's necessary to go in with more concealer. So, you know, the promise is that this is the concealer and the foundation together. But as I was saying, law enforcement is a very simple beat. It's not a lot of glamour and contour and, you know, lashes, etc. It's really more about looking healthy and professional. The tight bun, the smooth, glassy appearance. I was explaining to some people that, you know, I have very long, like, curly hair. Today I put beard and mustache wax into my palms to warm it, ran it over my hair, and I sprayed it with it's a spray gel from the organic section, and it held up pretty well. I was only at work for a half day, but, you know, my concern is that, wow, I shouldn't always put a lot of chemicals or a lot of alcohol, like sprays that have alcohol in them. But when my hair is damp and I kind of pull it into a ponytail and make the bun and make it flat and straight, I'll tie it down with this very kind of sheer nylon do-rag. And that lets, you know, as I travel and drive and walk around, it lets airflow in to help dry my hair. But then it'll dry, you know, it's kind of the opposite of a curler, right? It'll let your hair dry in this shape, and people look at you, especially people who are not black, they look at you like, what are you doing? Why do you have that on? But then when it's time to get camera ready, you just pull it off and voila. You don't need hair and makeup team to come. You don't need hairspray or whatever, because you've allowed your hair to take this shape. You've tied it down, you've dried it down, and then it looks, you know, glossy and shiny for the duration of work, which today was, again, super short. So I'm not unhappy with this. I look healthy. I look perfected. This color looks like a match to my hands, to my neck, to my chest. I feel like I could trust this product, right? If I, you know, got out of the shower and I moisturized and sunscreened and, you know, then, you know, put on some kind of like blurring skin perfector like this Kiehl's or a L'Oreal Miracle Blur or, you know, something in that vein, that I could put this on and trust that I don't look like a raccoon with dark circles. You know, the only places I feel like I have darkness are, you know, in this inner corner and around my nose. And so what I'll do is usually put on concealer here around my nose, up around my eye, right? Tap it in, let it dry down while I dress. Maybe put some on the chin, the cupid's bow, the forehead, maybe under the brow, maybe over the brow, maybe here under where one might contour, right? You see your muscles in your face. It's so pretty. I kind of don't want to like do more to it, but maybe we should go in with a contour shade. This is Wet n Wild. You know, we can draw on, not crazy, but just, you know, kind of just on the cheekbone, very lightly, here by the forehead. Nothing, you know, we're not trying to change things in a crazy way. Draw it onto the nose. You know, I've been watching some Drag Race people talk about drag contour and kind of getting it under the brow here, and then having the lines on your nose kind of converge to a point, because visually you're trying to make the tip of the nose seem narrower, so just going up and down might be not the best that you can do. And then some dots under the nose to kind of shrink the nose. We've been eating good on set. Unfortunately, we've put on 2 pounds. Today we had shrimp cocktail. They say draw a triangle under the chin, right? Some people say bring the lines down the sides of the neck where you already have some natural shadow. Just along the jawline, right? This isn't the darkest color. We've gotten into some real trouble with some of this dark concealer mixed with that Estee Lauder. I literally turned myself into a gray thumb. I had to take it off. So, because this is a cream product, it doesn't need to dry down, but what is the proper thing to blend it with? Should we use our non-porous sponge again? Perhaps, right? Let's do this. Then, they say blend your contour up. And when they say up, do they mean up or do they mean back? So let's do a little both, right? We don't want to go down, right? They say blend things up to lift the face. And you can fold this guy. Basically, you're just wanting to use something besides your finger, right? You can use your finger, but, we're trying to look professional, right? We're trying to look like we know what we're doing, especially because of COVID now. On set, a lot of times you need to be able to do your own makeup. Sometimes because no matter if it's a black set or a white set, it's unclear that there's going to be people. I folded this guy. Look at the innovation. Running it up underneath that brow, tapping it in, running it down. Now the other side. But, you can look at old photos and footage of Naomi Campbell, for example, right? At that time, there weren't a ton of African-American models on the scene or African-American artists. Not a lot of people who understood how to work with African-American hair. Certainly things have improved. I've worked with a number of non-black hair people and makeup artists who, do incredible work on all skin tones. And it's impressive that people take the time to educate themselves, just like, makeup lines having a shade range or having products that are truly universal, that if it says translucent, it's going to be translucent on all different skin tones. But just respecting the fact that everyone's a human and everyone, needs products that make them look and feel beautiful, right? So some refinements are to kind of take this up along the sides of the chin. We don't want to erase what we've done, but it's a challenge just to kind of like marry that lovely Conceal foundation from Milani and give ourselves some more jawline definition, right? The old school of 3, right? This is the upper part of the 3, right? Jawline's the middle of the 3. Sorry, the cheekbone is the middle of the 3, and then the jawline is the bottom, right? So that by the time you actually get your products in motion, you are working with an understanding, just taking the excess and running that along the crease of the eye, right? This doesn't look bad. Looking a little bit more snatched. Now let's get into it with some of this instant age rewind concealer in warm light. Not sure why I have this color, but here it goes. I don't think this is is it a twisty top? It is a twisty top. Listen to that satisfying sound. But maybe a dot or two of this into our dish so that we're not soiling the applicator. I think we're gonna have to work a lot harder to get product out, but we don't want to use too much, but we don't want to use too little. Uh-oh, there went our our mirror light. So we got a little bit in the dish right there, right? Maybe a little bit more, and then we'll go in with a brush just to see if we can do a little concealing, a little magic. Maybe we'll dampen this brush and then dry it off a little bit so that we have a damp brush. And then, you know, just kind of dot it in the conceal places. Nothing crazy because I don't feel like we needed a lot of fixing after that foundation. And, you know, just look at yourself in a mirror, right? You don't want to disturb what's underneath, but you just want to make sure that no one's going to be like, "Ugh, you look tired. Ugh, you look like you need some makeup." No one should think that. They should just be like, "Wow, you look so lovely and natural." Maybe along the brow bone. People say, you know, define your brow. It's pretty obvious where my brows are. I don't do a lot to them. I had them shaped by Bella at Bliss Spa in New York, and then I got them kind of permanently in that shape, just a slight arch, not over plucked. You know, a little concealer down the middle, just to kind of sharpen up that nose contour. Maybe we need a little bit more. Going in with a little bit more, right? Another dot or two in our dish, a little bit. Let's see what we can do. We're not trying to go crazy, but it's like, you know, every minute that you can take to kind of augment the shaping that you're giving to your face through makeup is time well spent, you know, because then you'll see yourself on camera and you'll be like, "Ooh, I'm looking good." Or other people will see you on your social media and they'll be like, "Ooh, you're looking good." And, you know, if this is your business, if your body is your business and your face is your business, it's helpful, you know, whether it's nutrition or sleep or, you know, finding the things and the jobs and the whatever that bring you joy. That's not a bad investment, right? You're investing in yourself, you're investing in your happiness, because we certainly see what happens when people don't, right? A lot of people, especially in Hollywood, you know, get involved in pharmaceuticals. That's not necessarily affordable, healthy, or safe in the long run. I have another series called Hollywood Scammer Hat, where I kind of talk about how people, you know, they get enticed by celebrity, they get enticed about, you know, being in the in crowd and going to the sex party and this and that, and that might not be the best thing. Just sharpening up that contour with what's left over on our brush, right? To make it more apparent where our contour is by uncontouring, just sharpening it up. We've done that little trick of making a line of paler concealer here by the eye as we prepare to get into our other products. Now, we haven't powdered. We do have an exciting new powder, the Bobbi Brown Warm Natural. Warm sounds right for me. Natural sounds right as well. Now, before we go further with that, should we reinforce our contour with a powder product? This is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, right? People talk about using cream products, and then reinforcing them with powder products. Powder bronzer, a powder for the face, the parts that you didn't contour or highlight. Here is a powder blush, but maybe before powder blush, we'll go in with a little bit of cream blush. I've been liking this L'Oreal Visible Lift Blur product. You know, we can get a little bit of that in our dish, right? And go in with our same non-porous, just a dot, non-porous sponge. You know, people poo-poo the non-porous sponge, but I'm a fan because I don't know about you, I find makeup expensive and I'm not trying to waste it. I'm not trying to, you know, put on a lot of product and then sop it up with a damp beauty sponge. What I am trying to do is get my beauty on, right? Have myself looking right for camera, for work, for date, for Zoom, right? You want to look good. Maybe dance it across the nose, tip of the nose. If you're, you know, generation, what is it? Z. I'm not a fan of the tip of the nose. I think when I see Doja Cat in that, it just looks curious to me. It looks like you've been indulging in things, you know, which is not what you want to do if you're going to be a cop or a, you know, CIA analyst. You want to look serious. If there's anything left, you can dot that into the eye area, right? Now again, from TikTok, we've learned you place your products, you look, you evaluate, right? Are you happy with this? Well, then it's time to reinforce what you've just done with some powder products because that will set as well as reinforce the color. So this is a Milani powder blush in this kind of baked, I think it's some sort of baked terracotta color. We can use, and this is an Eco Tools brush, kind of a pretty flexible domed brush. We don't need a lot of density, but we are just wanting to reinforce that blush, right? Maybe stipple it on in the places where we put our cream product. Stipple across the nose, a little on the chin. You want to mimic those sunburn places, right? Just a little swirl. Tap it off. You want it to show, but you want to look like maybe this occurred in nature, not like you're a CIA analyst and you're trying too hard. Blush. 2 steps of blush, done. Now we can use the same brush and go in with this butter bronzer. It is in the Endless Summer. I feel like this is the darkest shade available. And we can, same thing, dot, tap, think about where we put our contour, get it in there, work it up into the blush to marry the colors together, right? Go back to where we contoured. This smells so good. It smells like coconut and chocolate, just like me. I do have a really good body wash that is, I think it's Tom's, and it's coconut, and I love it. Get that down the neck. Maybe pinch your brush, pinch, run it where you contoured your nose, underneath. Some people say make a line so the tip of the nose is round. Make it round, like a little button nose. Does that work? I'm not sure, but you can put the excess into your crease, and then you can also go in as we start to approach the eye area with some kind of fluffy brush, right? Here's one. This might be better for blending things out. A fluffy brush, some kind of fluffy brush. Here's a couple of fluffy brushes. Well, good enough. We can use the same bronzer, you know. Harush, the makeup artist on YouTube, says to, you know, use tones and colors that, you know, you've used in one place on your face in another place, because then there will be visual unity to your look that won't make it look like there's different colors over here and over there. It'll all look like tones that are on your face. It'll be unified, and it'll have the effect of making you look like you have less makeup on. So we're running it in that crease. Always hold your brushes from the end. Use very light pressure. Windshield wiper, maybe little circles. You're gonna extend that shape out toward the end of the brow, right? And on the other side, right? Get in that crease. We've touched a little bit of blush into our, and we want to touch the outer corner, right? What we're doing is contouring that eye shape so it doesn't look just natural and bare. It looks like you've done a little something, but it's not with a green or a purple or, you know, something in the Jeffree Star kaleidoscope of colors. Those are not cop, detective, CIA analyst, FBI agent colors. We can sharpen up that nose contour. And there's nothing wrong with, you know, recreational colors. All I'm saying is that for this particular look, for working as a law enforcement person, you can't be an elected official with all those colors on your face. You can't be someone who, you know, those colors are for going out at night. Awesome. Let's see. Hi, Cooper. How do I answer you? I don't know how to even answer. Here we go. Live chat. No, I don't think that worked. Well, anyway, back to the makeup. But thanks for stopping by, Cooper. It's nice to see you. I've lost my mirror light and I'm just trying to show my skills at doing a basic makeup look for when you are you know, playing a law enforcement person. And you know, one issue is that whenever I record all these things, it eats up the storage on my phone. So I've been experimenting with doing things in apps and doing things live so that I don't have that problem. But yeah, that's the makeup. And this is the cop hair from earlier today. Yeah. So yeah, the last thing to do would be lips. Here's a brown lip liner from L'Oreal Infallible. And, you know, I feel like people are using brown liners pretty universally these days, especially if you're doing a nude lip. It gives you sharpness and shape, and then you can just add a gloss or something that is kind of natural looking. You know, not purple, not too red, because this is, you know, daytime and work. And, you know, you can be, some people do this line, let's try it, here, in the center of the lower lip. It's sort of stylized. I'm not sure what it does, but we're gonna try. So, eyes are lined in brown with a pencil. Lips are lined also in brown. And then we just need to find some sort of lip color and we will be good to go. So we have a bunch of different butter glosses from NYX. This one is called Sugar High. So with just a simple brown liner, not even a particularly thick line, you can go over this, you know, kiss that liner so that you diffuse it a bit. You can use a brush if you like. Maybe rub your lips together. Shine might be a little glamorous, but you never know. Like, I'm always shocked in work situations, you know, where very much like a television show, how things get kind of flirtatious. I've been with some people at work who baby, quarantine has people thirsty. So this is this Bobbi Brown, what is it called again? Warm Natural Powder. We're seeing a little bit of shine here in the middle of the face and under the eyes. So now that we've gone into our blush with a powder blush, contour with a powder contour, i.e. bronzer, we put bronzer into the eye crease. We can take a neutral powder and just powder the center of the face. You know, you want to keep your, oh, I see. This has an applicator where you can kind of turn this little thing inside to close it. But what we want to do is seal it up and then shake some out. Tap. Hopefully that's not too much. Our friend Bobbi Brown. And then we have some in the cap. We can get into, I like a fluffy powder brush. Here is this Morphe, what is this? E53. Is this too big? Maybe it's okay. It's got this sort of like pointed tip. Put it in there. Swirl. Knock it off. It seems to be very finely milled and very light. And what we want to do is just look at our face. See that shine in the forehead? We want to take that shine away. Right? When makeup artists are on set, they'll often cover a foam makeup sponge that's kind of like a little triangle. They'll maybe cover it in a tissue, or maybe they'll use it bare. And even on men who have, you know, shaved heads or bald heads, they'll kind of paint some powder, very thin layer of powder, onto them just so that the camera doesn't pick up shine. You know, you don't want to take away the shine on the sides of the face. You want to look natural, you want to look healthy, glowy, right? But you don't want to look, shine in the middle of the face makes you look sweaty. See what I'm saying? Cooper, I have a ring light on. If I turn the ring light off, it's gonna look dark. And I had my mirror charged, but then I've been recording so long it died. But no, I'm glad if it looks like the light is really happening here, because it's probably, the sun is going down. You probably can't tell in the horizon, but you know, generally it's dark in Hollywood by like 7:38, and that's when you have to you got to close up shop and get inside because there's too many people outside who are creeping around. You know, you can't go out too early because then people are swinging pipes and going through the trash and throwing bottles and breaking people's windows, but you also can't be out too late. Tourists are out, drunk people are out, people who are, you know, hanging out are out. But, you know, I want to just say, like, when you put this stuff on your face, sometimes it feels like you're painting by the numbers. And then having gone from your natural bare face or bare lips to this, it can look a little like, ooh, look, it looks like I've been eating buttered bread or something. But once things marry together, right, that edge, that brown lip liner, that center line covered in gloss, your body heat melts it together. Tell me I don't look prettier than I looked at the beginning. Not that a bare face is bad, but I'm just talking about, you know, you want to develop a repertoire of looks that make you look not barefaced, not like you didn't make an effort, you know, and determine whether you need to, like, you know, some people do a lot with their brows, some people do a lot with lashes and mascara and all of that. You know, I've listened to Dr. Dre on YouTube, the dermatologist, talk about how, you know, curling your lashes, putting lash glue on with individual or strip lashes is ultimately damaging for your lashes. So if you're interested in having lashes and maybe not having to do that, Save that stuff for a special occasion. But if you're just going to work, you just want to look decent, like you've made an effort, like you've put on an outfit. Ooh, sorry. Or, you know, you want to look kind of fresh and clean and friendly, then just a bronzer in the crease, a brown liner, some cheek color, some bronzing, contour, that might be enough. Sharpen the jawline, and then you can figure out whether you need jewelry or anything more. But, you know, I was at work with someone today who, you know, was saying to me, "Oh, are you wearing makeup? Because I'm not wearing any." And I was like, "Yeah, I just, you know, same as I said, I concealed and I put on powder and then I put on setting spray." And she was like, "Yeah, I'm not wearing any," and had the 3/4 inch long strip lashes, which even on a bare face in bright daylight looks very, it's not makeup, it's you know, part of, I guess, an enhancement that you can have on your face, but it didn't look natural. And I so wanted to encourage her to either rock her natural lashes, maybe a little mascara, or just, you know, a lash that wasn't as dense or as long or as uniform. Because if you're, in her case, detective, you want your makeup to look undetectable, fresh face, natural. Something for the haters who they can't readily have something to say about you and your appearance in the context of working as a real detective in the world of the story, or even, you know, your fellow actors just sort of questioning, like, why would you wear no makeup and then have some very obvious strip lashes on if they're not extensions? And I do see people, you know, rocking lash extensions, you know, and again, dermatologist is saying those things can be detrimental to your neck. Our live is getting a little sketchy, but thank you for spending time with me today doing my makeup, because, you know, I enjoy it. You know, there's a school of thought that says to add some highlighter on your lid, right? As a step in your makeup. So without adding like a color, without blue or anything like that, you can go in with something that is in the kind of nude color palette, right? Here's our fluffy brush. Maybe we'll wipe it off and just get into some highlighter, right? A paler highlighter just in the center of your eye, right? They say in the center of the lid, tap a little something, right? You could use your finger, right? Put that just in the center of the lid. Maybe you can't even see it. You know, tap it off, but just something to delight the eye. When people look at you, it's just a little shimmer, right? Nothing too chunky, but something that catches the light, not a cut crease, not all the way across the lid, just in the middle. And when you open your eye, maybe it's not as visible, but when you look down, somebody's going to get chills. You know, I mean, I have to say it's fun, like when people are nice, and even when they're just socially flirty, right? Like you've been in quarantine, you know, maybe you're not socializing as much at the bank or at the store or with your neighbors because you don't want to catch the Delta variant, or that now there's a new mu variant. I don't know. That was a sort of like pale gold. I would love to do your makeup. Busy Bug Productions. You know, I could do a very manly, but you know, just enhance your bone structure, and especially like for a photo shoot or a, what do you call it, thumbnail. Just, you know, so this is a slightly more, I don't even know if you could really see it, a slightly more copper color. Maybe it's too close to my skin tone. But maybe that's the point. You want something subtle. Now, I haven't added any inner corner highlight. This is kind of like natural, but pushing it. A little highlighter and a neutral tone on the center of the lid, some bronzer. You done. And maybe when you know, eat your shrimp cocktail, awesome. I wonder how I can type back to you. Or maybe that's the point, I can't. But that's cool. No, theater and all of that stuff is great. But, you know, there's a difference between like you performing in theater as a man or Brad Pitt. I guarantee Tom Cruise, every actor, The Rock, they all, wear makeup. But it's to make them look natural, right? On camera, their makeup may be more powdery. Like when you see newscasters in the studio or you see like a Shamar Moore on set, you see what brand of makeup they use on him, foundation, powder. He may look a little bit chalky, but he looks perfect on camera, right? That's the thing. You want to trick the eye into thinking this is natural skin, natural face under whatever that lighting situation is, right? I have a ring light on, there's daylight behind me. If I could get my mirror to work, there it goes for a second. You know, I don't think I look crazy, but next to a man who's completely barefaced, maybe I just look a little bit cuter, a little bit more feminine, right? I've bronzed and contoured the sides of my face and my jaw to effectively make my face look smaller. Smaller face is feminine, right? Women have a less pronounced brow ridge, right? But if you were doing drag makeup, you might take off your eyebrows, however, with makeup or shaving them off and draw your brow above so that you can make it seem like your actual brow is further in, and then you can kind of disguise where your more prominent brow ridge is with a darker color. Darker things recede, like the lines under your cheekbones, right? When you do contour there, or when you're trying to get rid of your delicious cream puff, and it's just been crazy. Our snack situation, tiramisu, we've got cheesecake and chocolate chip cookies and ice cream truck and ramen and barbecue, and it's just been, you know, I do actually have to go to the gym after this to try to sharpen up my double chin naturally. But yeah, again, it was just such a gift to get time off today. I really can't say how thrilled I am with this Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation. I picked a good color, right? Even with just a minimal amount of concealer on top, minimal amount of contour, bronzer, cream blush, powder blush. I haven't put highlighter on the highlight places. I've just put some in the center of my eyelid. This one's paler, that one's darker. I don't know if I need it because I've left the perimeter of my face shiny, right? Powdered at the center. Oh, thank you. Oh my goodness. Yeah, well, let me know if you want to have a conversation on Instagram. We can definitely do a live, talk about work and unions and all kinds of exciting things. But yeah, this has been a positive purchase. You know, I'm also not unhappy with these products. You know, Wet n Wild, super cheap, contour, works great. This Instant Age Rewind concealer works great. Very pale color because, again, you're trying to make light in these areas that are maybe darker than you want. And then with this, you're trying to make darkness in areas that will help make your round face look less round. Awesome. Where are you going for dinner? Or if not, if you want to hop back tonight, we can make a plan. We can definitely do, you know, things on different apps and have a chat because, you know, we're kind of breaking the fourth wall. We're actually communicating back and forth in real time instead of like leaving each other messages, which is super cool. You know, America and Canada are friends. Now that we got rid of that other president. But yeah, no, I thank you for joining me as I, experiment with my brushes and my cosmetics and show you what I do to get ready for work. But I'm getting text messages from work, so I should probably hop off and answer so they think I'm, they don't think I'm not interested in working. So this has been Tanya from House of Tanya, getting camera ready with your help and support. Enjoy your dinner, Cooper, and we're gonna connect on the B side. So I'm wishing you beauty and acting and art and self-expression and all those good things, and stay healthy and COVID free. And if you're not COVID free, please recover and be healthy and strong. Okay, thank you so much. Bye.